Welcome back to DreamHack Atlanta, where the stakes are only getting higher and higher here as we move on through Championship Sunday for our Rocket League tournament. We're into the top four. It's the semifinals, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Wavepunk, and we've got a bunch of people here that love Rocket League with me. I love all of you. It's been a great day. Muffin Men versus G2, the stand-up for North America. One of these teams will make it into the finals. On the other side of the bracket, both European teams, it will be a North American versus European final. The question is who?
Yeah, it's been a very difficult situation for both these teams. Primarily Muffin Men, they came in really hot, 3-0'd Energy, surprised everybody. But the big difference is they haven't played for quite a while. Obviously, they're able to practice and scrim, but it totally loses that momentum that they gained. They're going to be starting from scratch. And for G2 loves long series. The best of sevens, Kronovi said it himself. They feel like it favors them because it gives them time to heat up and play how they want to play.
And that actually is a really good point, but I mean, still, Muffin Men and G2 have this long-time historic rivalry. Not only have they played here for the first time in a live environment, but they've played a ton on the Team Beyond Astros and a lot of the community tournaments.
Yep.
These guys have gone back and forth in those as well.
Yeah, and at this point, we can look at Muffin Men. I mean, this team is a giant slayer. They have taken down NRG, the favorite to win the tournament, knocked them out in 3 games, 3 clean games. We can take a look at the bracket. How did all this happen? If you're just tuning in for the first time, take a look at how our quarterfinals went. We were 3 3-0s and 1 sweep. We'll get to look at it.
Try that again. 3 sweeps and 1 3-2.
What did I say?
3 3-0s and 1 sweep.
Oh, yeah, that would mean all sweeps, wouldn't it? My goodness, yes. 1 game 5. All the rest of them, 3-0 sweeps there as NRG Esports getting swept by the Muffin Men, and that puts them into the semifinals. Nothing really too surprising throughout the rest of this, other than the fact, the biggest surprise for me, other than the NRG getting swept, was Maka getting swept. I expected that to at least go to Game 5 or at least go to Game 4, but in this situation, Maka just not living up to Gale Force. Gale Force taking the win.
I would like to point out that of all the top 8 teams, the only team to come in with an unsponsored organization, the Muffin Men, are now in semifinals against G2, one of the longest standing organizations in the game. So if, you know, I've all eyes on Muffin Men right now to see how they will perform when it matters.
Now, you mentioned G2, one of the longest sponsored organizations here, sponsored teams in Rocket League, but of the 6 players in this match, 5 of them have yet to get a major LAN victory. Kronovi, the only player to be decorated on a LAN stage back in Season 1 when he was the World Championship. Both Rizzo and JNaps, as popular of the players they are, have yet to win on a stage of this caliber, so you know that they want to get it here at DreamHack Atlanta.
I think that's been the most surprising thing, too, is a lot of people, the first time they come into a LAN environment, have a lot of trouble. And Muffin Men don't seem it. Like, when you look at them, and Torment mentioned, he's like, we're just really focused. And that focus has completely distracted them from everything else. The crowd being in other people's favors. Obviously, going against G2, they're going to have to face that again big time because the crowd has been going absolutely nuts now that nobody's backing Energy because Energy got knocked out by these guys. So it's like the crowd's like somewhat kind of angry at them, but not really because it's still NA. So it'll be interesting to see, but the fact that the crowd has played literally 0 effect on them throughout this entire series, they're coming in playing strong. Like Ambition 2, even though they just got knocked out, same thing. Like they've done a very good job performance-wise playing on the big stage.
And of course, by the way, that means Kronovi, the longest standing Atlanta Georgian to advance further in, which you were hoping to keep track of.
That's very true, and he is into the semifinals, could be into the finals. It would be fantastic to see the hometown hero make it all the way. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm ready to head down to the stage. Let's meet our teams in the blue. On the blue side, representing North America, is gonna be the Muffin Men. Give it up for these boys. As you said,
Focus.
No jerseys on these guys.
Unsponsored.
Somebody pick up this team, ladies and gentlemen. See all these guys ready to play. And in the orange, representing Atlanta here, the hometown hero, Kronovi. Give it up for G2.
Probably one of the bigger orbs, obviously fan base wise, especially with those 2 in the back, Kronovi and Rizzo. But you cannot count out JNaps. He has been playing out of his mind.
This crowd is so ready. Guys, I'm ready for some Rocket League. Players, take your seats. Let's play. And let's get into these semifinals. Cannot wait to find out who is going to make it into the grand finals. Kronovi is having the run of his life in his hometown right now. And gentlemen, this leads me to you guys. Predictions. Muffin Men, who's 3-0 swept NRG, going up against G2, who took out Flipside in 5 games. G2 still looking for that victory they've been hunting for so long. I'm going to start with you, Fickle.
I had an initial prediction last night with the Chiefs, and I said that Muffin Men would beat NRG, and then I went back on my word on the desk today. So I'm going to continue with my gut reaction here that Muffin Men are going to make it to grand finals over G2. I'm going to guess 4-2 in favor of the Muffin Men.
4-2. All right. And remember, it is a best of 7.
Yeah, this is a best of 7. Like you said, they like long series, but I think Muffin Men have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. They showed up big in day number 2. They started off with a bang here in day 3. I think they ride that focus and that drive into the grand finals.
All righty.
You know, I've said it multiple times already. Muffin Men has a hard time coming back from down behind. And G2 plays better the more they get to play. So as long as G2 can make this go to a game 5, I think G2 is going to have it. I almost called them J2 and the Crizzos.
J2 and the Crizzos. It's going to be up to them. Can they do it? And we've talked about every player on the Muffin Men here as a player to watch and as a player to have step up. And every player has had their moment to shine. Guys, key player for our viewers to keep an eye on here for the Muffin Men.
Well, I mean, Torment so far today, he's been a part of a lot of the offense. Torment and Squishy both. Yesterday, Squishy especially involved in a lot of goals. I look for Squishy to continue having that high goal participation percentage here.
For me, it's going to be Gimmick. I mean, Gimmick had a big performance yesterday.
Yeah.
And even though he's supposed to be the quiet one, like a lot of other teams were just like, who is this guy? And why have we not paid attention more? Obviously, the community tournaments beyond Astro being the big one that they've really gained the notoriety in. Look at that sign. Beautiful. Beautiful. Hand-drawn and everything.
Beautiful artwork. As we said, five of the players on these stage haven't yet to win. The Muffin Men looking for this would be the biggest victory that they'd ever pulled off.
For sure. And of course, beyond that, let's go ahead and get right into the game. It's going to be a best of 7. Muffin Men G2 Esports, we've finally reached the cream of the crop, the very end of the Beyond Astro. We're in the semifinals. The winner of this doubles their prize pool, Fickle. Everybody in this top 4 is sitting at a nice $6 grand, and if you win here, you're guaranteed at least 12,000 bucks.
That's right, Achieves, and $6 grand in itself is nothing to shudder at. There was a time which we were struggling to get over $100 for our prize pools, and now we're sitting here with a 50K Rocket League tournament with probably the most stacked form and field that I have seen in quite a long time. Everybody has shown up, but we have narrowed it down to the top 4. G2 versus the Muffin Men in a best of 7. Who will take it and go into grand finals?
Gimmick with a solid challenge. The first minute of play, some fairly neutral aspects being exhibited by both teams. Really just trying to feel each other out here. Of course, Lawler predicting G2. Fickle and myself have chosen Muffin Men. We never got to hear what Wavepunk's prediction was, but I bet he would give it.
Wavepunk gets to be impartial because he's the host. It's an easy way out.
Shot going to be coming through from Muffin Men. Torment kept at bay by JNaps. Squishy Muffin's pushing slowly out of the midfield. He's been so patient all tournament long in that midfield, making sure his timing and his positioning is good enough to buy plenty of time for his teammates and generate extra opportunities.
And if you couldn't tell in the crowd, when G2 took the stage, it is clearly a G2 crowd, as they are one of the fan favorites from North America, and they have family representing out in the audience, as well as the Muffin Men are looking to strike down a legend in Rocket League in G2 Esports.
Gimmick tells JNaps he'll have to wait 3 seconds to play again, and a shot comes through from Torment, tapped away by Krenovi. Down past the midfield line, we've reached the halfway mark. We're just about there of game number 1. And Krenovi in charge of the defense. Bit of a double commit, not a problem. They're able to readjust, as Muffin Men also needing a little bit of time to get back into things. Very patient Krenovi back in his own half. Picks up the corner boost, waits for the long bomb, and he's in the perfect spot to get this one. There's a second touch. It's a great tap out towards the middle of the field. Another double commit by G2. We've talked about it. We have said and said over and over and over again that G2 needs to make sure that they don't get in each other's way. They stay calm, cool, and collected on defense. And you have to wonder if the start of this series is a bit of foreshadowing for the rest of it.
Yeah, a bit quiet from both teams, as no one has been able to get even close to the net, as we saw Muffin Men putting up 6-7 goals against some teams, and G2 as well.
Tap.
And Rizzo gets it by 3, and Krenovi, no boost in the tank to even get a contest on that. Couple of claps in the crowd, but we are still scoreless.
Will remain scoreless indeed. And of course, Muffin Men earlier today playing versus NRG, one of the most powerful offenses that we've seen all tournament long, held them to only 2 goals, a demo attempt in the net. Torment recovers, but the follow-through from Kronovi, G2 on the board first.
Even with the spectacular defensive effort from Torment, dodging the demo and getting up to block it, he's going to dump it into the middle as he's got too much on his plate to handle. Kronovi says, thank you very much. We will take that game 1 lead. And now we have G2 trying to sit on this first game. Will they be able to take it?
And that play really showcases the effectiveness of the bump game as well, just because even he didn't get the demo, it prevented the optimal clear that Torment wanted. Probably wanted to go across his own net and get into the other corner. Instead, his only option right back out to midfield. That's a good appliement, a good show of pressure. There we go. That's the word I wanted. A good show of pressure for G2 Esports. They find the back of the net first. It's a bit of a weak clear, follow through high towards the net. Squishy skies one as well, and he would love to have a second opportunity at that shot.
He did have a very small window to put that in, and normally he's very clinical with that type of shot, but he's going to try to create some offense on his own. Final 1 minute remaining in game number 1 of our first semifinal match. G2 has the lead versus the Muffin Men. Are they going to hang on, or is this redirect on target? No, it is off the backboard. 40 seconds remaining.
Long clear downfield by JNAPS. Off the back wall will be Torment. Keeps it close. Very nice play from him to give themselves an extra possession here at the end of the game as we count down the final 30 seconds. Shot towards the net. It's going to be on the left side. Kronovi makes it 2-0.
Gimmick looking a bit out of position here as he watches the ball soar over his head, and a very nice awareness there from Kronovi. You see how he uses his right stick to point down his camera even though the ball is way above him. That way he can judge where the defense is, and he knows he actually has plenty of time to go up and take a good shot instead of trying to take a 50-50.
Gimmick to Torment. Squishy Muffin's charging forward, has to wait his turn as G2 will throw it back into the blue half. Tap forward by JNAPS. Again, the short tap to himself. Wants an air dribble. Can't go under the defense. And the final 5 seconds going to be counting down here shortly as Squishy tries to get at least something going on into game number 2, and that will not happen. Kronovi finding the back of the net twice, courtesy of 2 assists from JNAPS, and they take game 1.
Game 1 going over to G2. Clearly the crowd favorite as the roar comes in, and on the side of the Muffin Men. It has been like this all week. Win or lose, the crowd is going nuts out there. Excellent stashes, fellas.
Excellent stashes.
And looking over onto the Muffin Men, win or lose, they always have the same face. Like Torment said, they are intensely focused and locked in. They want this so badly. Both of these teams want this really badly because neither of them got to prove themselves in LAN at all. G2 missing out in Season 3, and then the Muffin Men, formerly Iris, actually missing out on the entire season. This is their one chance they've had since then to prove themselves.
Exactly. That's a very good point. That chip on the shoulder from Muffin Men, proving that they can still get it done against top-level competition. See them all just deadlocked, focused in here as we get set for game number 2. But how about yesterday? Squishy Muffins participating in about 2 goals on average per game, and really didn't really get anything much done versus G2 here in this one.
I've always really admired not Squishy's mechanics on his ceiling shots or his, flip resets. When he plays on a team, and he's known for being a ones player way back when, doesn't play him anymore, but that's certainly where he got his start. He has such good awareness of where his teammates are to dump it off for the pass. Actually, maybe better than anybody in North America.
Hard off the side wall by G2 as we get underway with game number 2 in this best of 7. It's the semifinals. All teams guaranteed at least 6,000, and Gimmick finds the wide open net.
Man, no fist pumps, no anything from the side of the Muffin Men. They are going to go up first, and a demolition there from Gimmick as well as getting the goal, creating all the space necessary to give Muffin Men their first lead in this series.
I think it's a really good show for Muffin Men as well to come out here and strike first in game number 2. You get shut out in the first match. It's always nice to feel like you haven't lost a step moving immediately into game number 2. Dribble from Torment up towards the side wall. Squishy going to have to come and lend a helping hand. Says goodbye to Rizzo in the midfield as he was hiding behind the ball, and Gimmick buying a little bit of extra space to work with, but JNAPS and Kronovi coordinate and are able to delay the push upfield. Squishy right over two of them, and Gimmick just a little bit too close, not quite having the distance away from the ball to read the bounce properly. And G2 will get the long clear.
And G2 actually coming off of the longest series in quarterfinals that we had. We had 3 sweeps, and G2 was the only team to go to 5 games, or even 4 games for that matter, versus Flipside. They have knocked out Flipside Tactics and are here in the semifinals against the Muffin Men already with a 1-game lead. But
Gimmick, please, you're nuts! Did you see that off the sidewall?
Man, he actually, I think, avoided the demolition from behind as well and scored it. He gets up. Oh, man, it looked like the bump rare wasn't supersonic from the G2 member. Made contact with him, but it was so close to not demolishing him. Even if you make contact with somebody, you have to be going supersonic to blow them up, or else you will just slightly alter their course.
Follow through off the sidewall. Torment, Gimmick, and Squishy getting it done. Gimmick in particular, Lawler's man to watch off the Muffin Men. Getting things started here in game number 2 with a bang. Skrenovi follow through top of the box, wanted a shot. We'll have to throw this one back towards his own half and let Rizzo take care of it. Long bomb downfield. JNAP's over on the side waiting for the clear. Pass to Skrenovi. The pinch attempt left side, well read and defended by Torment.
I've been saying for some time now that I think that pinch mechanic is going to be the next level for some of these teams to create unsavable shots into the top left, top right. As long as it's very hard to coordinate, but it's only going to take a matter of time until they're able to get that perfect pinch into the top left. But that is a discussion for theorizing later. Muffin Men and G2 Esports in a best of 7. Muffin Men with
shot Rizzo towards the middle left side again and double wide for G2. They had 2 great chances. JNAPS wants a stuff and still can't find the net. 3 rattle off the woodwork, make it 4 as Torment makes the save.
Every single member of G2 Esports getting a shot onto net in that series, but they were not able to penetrate the defense of the Muffin Men. But here they are once more. 2 minutes remaining. They are down 2 already. Can they get one here? No, the Muffin Men defense is going to stay strong.
Great defensive showcase of Muffin Men using all the woodwork and getting those cars in front of some clutch shots. They will hang on barely to their 2-goal lead here in this best of 7. Gimmick off the sidewall, doesn't have a lot of boost to work with, is just able to keep G2 at bay as this one floats out in front. Once the lower left-hand side, Gimmick extends the lead.
Nice placement as well from Gimmick. I believe that is his hat trick on the game, scoring all 3 goals. And I've said in days 1 and day 2, and Lawler mentioned it on the desk before this series, Gimmick is the player that I'm looking for to be the force for this offense, as he is the newest player on the field. I would say both Torment and Squishy having quite a fair bit of competitive experience, maybe not on the stage, but Gimmick is a new face, really.
Yeah, definitely a new face for a lot of people in Rocket League. He had a heck of a day yesterday, contributing to over 60% of his team's goals, and was held relatively quiet in their first series versus NRG, but now he's come back with a vengeance here against G2, and what a better time to do it when you need to tie up the series at ones. Squishy now out of the midfield. Back pass, actually just going to leave that one for Torment. Quick U-turn against the side wall for Skrenovi. He will have a bit of a drive back. JNAP's through 1. Not quite 2. Squishy able to get the bumper on it. Rizzo off the ceiling. Can he come down and smash it home? It will not be so, as Squishy will tap it off his own corner.
Wide eyes there for Rizzo as he's not able to find it. Nice defensive effort from Gimmick. Beautiful recovery as well with no boost, trying to just make the best of that situation. And
what a shot
off of the backboard. Skrenovi is going to get them closer in this game.
Yeah, this definitely a really nice follow through. We've seen him do that plenty of times. We saw him back at Texas Rocket Land do something fairly similar.
It was on the other side of the wall.
On the other side.
taking it from the sidewall off of the backboard all himself and getting the double touch. 45 seconds remaining in game number 2. G2 Esports looking to get back on top in this match. They're already up 1 game in the series, but the Muffin Men are looking to get their first.
Shot to Rizzo. Squishy Muffins will keep that at bay. Follow through by Torment, no problem for him as well. Really conserving his boost out of the midfield. It's such a great job to slow pace a play down. Goes right through one off the corner, and that will be turned aside by JNAPS. What a great job doing a solo effort through 3 players. It's not often you get to see the dribbles in 3v3, but when it works, it is spectacular.
Man, G2, if they don't score right here on this drive, they will have no chance of coming back into this game. And it looks like the Muffin Men are going to take game number 2 and tie the series back up.
And if I'm not mistaken, that puts the G2 right where they want the Muffin Men. They are now guaranteed to at least go to game 5, which is what Lawler said. If G2 gets Muffin Men to game 5, they win.
That is the win condition for G2. The longer they play it, the better they play, as we saw it versus Rogue and versus Flipside Tactics. Both of those games going to 5 games, and eventually G2 does take the victory. So it seems the longer the match goes, the better G2 gets. But the Muffin Men are making it pretty difficult for them to ramp up as they take game number 2 at DreamHack Atlanta in the Georgia World Congress Center in beautiful Atlanta, Georgia.
Definitely the case, and still a deadlock stare into the monitors of the Muffin Men. And of course, over on the G2 half, Rizzo patiently waiting. He had a bit of a mishap with a chair yesterday in the middle of a game.
I wouldn't really call it a mishap. It looked pretty intentional to me. Ooh, 2, 3, 4. I wonder what he's counting off there.
We'll never know. But so far, Gimmick, the hat trick in the previous match, definitely reestablishing himself as an offensive threat for the Muffin Men, and Torment and Squishy getting involved as well. But Gimmick really showing up, as Kronovi also has all 3 goals over on the G2 side of things. Yesterday, it was all JNaps putting the goals into the net. Today, we've seen Kronovi take a little bit more lead in that department.
Yeah, JNaps has been relatively quiet on the day as well. I think he only scored 2 goals in the Flipside series, and I think maybe only 1 goal in this game. 3 goals in the Flipside series, I'm being told, by Achieves, who has been the master of the stats. And here we go, tied series. Now technically a best-of-5 scenario.
And a
shot from Torment, who was the key factor versus NRG.
What a start again for the Muffin Men. Some great pressure being applied off the kickoff. Kronovi trying to hover in front. He was oh so close, but a brilliant follow-through, and the Muffin Men strike first again in game 3.
I continue to be impressed by the Muffin Men. A team that was Quinn's dark horse to come into this tournament. A team that we knew was good, but we didn't know how well they would perform in a live setting, and they have already impressed me so far. Will they continue to impress me and the crowd here in Atlanta, or will it be G2, the fan favorites, going on into the grand finals?
Pass upfield, JNaps, tough shot, what an angle. Hello, G2 ties it up.
Looks like JNaps has finally awoken in this series, as he's already downfield for this ball, in a very close demo attempt there from Torment. Just barely does not get in touch with JNaps. But G2 and the Muffin Men are now tied in the game and in the series.
JNaps dribble attempt out of the midfield, goes up, far post, up in the high zone of the net. The follow-through coming through for G2. As JNaps rotates all the way back to his own side, more than willing to wait his turn here. Some lateral passes out of the Muffin Men as they advance down the pitch. And Rizzo there to shut it down out of the midfield. JNaps going to secure his own team's corner boost. The boost control game is so important for all of these teams as it flies out into space and Muffin Men have a chance to recover. Oh, what a fake. JNaps able to stay in control, and G2 get an extra opportunity off of a brilliant mind game. And Muffin Men are going to have to scramble back on defense. They might be a little bit strapped for boost at this point, and Torment can only get a weak clear, as Gimmick will finally pick up that mid boost and have a chance at things.
In my eyes, it's going to be Gimmick versus JNaps. Who is going to have more of an impact in this game? But I mean, Torment as well must be in that conversation, as he was absolutely the key factor when they swept NRG. If you missed it, this Muffin Men team swept NRG in the very first quarterfinals of the day and are now facing G2 in the semis.
Well, a quick 1-2 pass for G2 gone astray, as Gimmick will race back to his own half as Rizzo and Kronovi wait in the midfield. Approaching the halfway mark here in game number 3. A lot of space for Kronovi in front of him, and Torment realizing that, quickly shutting it down to keep it on this orange half. As an advancing Squishy Muffins gets around 2. Gimmick gives a little shove over to JNaps. A nice high pass. Unfortunately, that probably needed to be a little bit more lined up with the net to have Gimmick have a clear line of sight to take a shot, and G2 will have some time to recover. Pass over to Kronovi. It's a little bit misplaced, and he can't quite get the punch out to mid. Long touch from Gimmick. And again, the Muffin men starting to spread out. Torment, nice and high, keeps it in the zone. That'll do it. Gimmick finds the back.
Torment to Gimmick, the two players that we are looking for from the Muffin men to have a really big impact for this roster. Faded eyes waiting in anticipation to see who will make it into the grand finals. And it is that guy right there on the far end, Gimmick, trying to be the hero for the Muffin men.
Kronovi on a dribble out of the midfield. What a play to go under one, over two. Is it in? It's in. Kronovi, you're nuts.
Cool guys, don't look at goal explosions, because as soon as Kronovi flicks this up, he is driving away. He knows it's in. Right off the crossbar and in. Kronovi, former world champion for this black and white G2 roster, immediately striking back against the Muffin men.
Stepping up in a big way for his team here on day 3. We've reached the single elimination portion of the DreamHack Atlanta Championship. Squishy Muffins got a pass, dished it right back, and Torment unfortunately unable to hang with the play. It will fall on Gimmick to keep things at bay as G2 try and push down the field. Pass out towards the top of the box. Squishy into the top. 1-2 touch comes up empty. And now Rizzo with limited boost through 1, not through 2. Will have to leave it for his members behind him.
Yeah, very fortunate that Squishy uncharacteristically did not get that double touch off of the backboard for G2. Game is still tied. Series is tied. It seems like these two teams are fairly evenly matched. It's going to be one impressive effort from an individual player to make the difference in this series.
Could see our first overtime of this series between Muffin men and G2. A long time matchup that has been played out time and time again out on the community tournament side of things. Kronovi to J-Naps. Pass across. There's Rizzo. Long touchdown field. How about 2 off the back wall? Not on target. And rolled away across the ground. Slow dribble from Torment. And thankfully, J-Naps able to keep this one at bay.
Really like that turn from Kronovi in the corner, as he's not going to push it across his own net. Going to make it and take it all the way into the corner for himself. He had no boost, so all he was trying to do was shadow it very closely, take wonderful care of it just like a precious baby. Escort it into the corner. 20 seconds remaining in game number 3 between G2 and the Muffin men. Are we going to see it in regulation, or will there be the first overtime of the series?
Currently, the Muffin men standing on the precipice towards the right side. Kronovi taps into the corner. Now it's a breakaway down to the other side. Squishy quick to shut it down, coming off that side wall, and it will indeed take extra time as we move into the first overtime. It's game number 3, best of 7. Muffin men able to squeak out a victory in game number 2. And of course, G2 taking the first one. Torment and Gimmick have scored. J-Naps and Kronovi have scored. Who will it be in overtime? Now Kronovi rotating all the way back. Nice roll off the side wall. Not a lot of boost to work with, however, and he's forced to run interference in the net. A quick dodge out of the way from Gimmick.
Ooh, ball stalls in the middle and barely recovered by G2. Very scary situation there. As we saw versus Flipside Tactics, G2 was able to reclaim in overtime in 7 seconds, but then also had 1 in 2 minutes and 51 seconds go against them. So their overtime record so far on the tournament, blocked away from Rizzo as the crowd goes oohs and ahs at these near chances.
Oohs and ahs is the only way to do it. Such brilliant play coming out from both of these teams. A hard pass, it's right at G2 into the right side and just edged away by Torment, able to recover as he was at far post, and now Gimmick into the midfield. Kronovi continuing to pressure for G2 will give way to Rizzo. Hard into the center. J-Naps, open space, 1-2 pass, and Rizzo comes up empty.
And J-Naps actually having no boost in the tank there, trying to flip forward to use his momentum and then cancel that flip to have the correct angle to hit it. He's carrying it through everybody. Rizzo was trying to create the offense, still tied in game number 3. And
what a brilliant pass.
But it's just slightly behind Torment. not able to connect with it. Squishy weaved it through all of them, but it was unscored.
Such great car control over on the offensive side of things. Gone by the wayside for Muffin Men, and they are pushed out of the way. It's a one-on-one. Torment cuts one down, and he was able to recover. Rizzo, the only man on defense, goes under him out towards the front, and there is G2. They have rotated. It was a long drive, but Rizzo bought just enough time.
I've never heard a crowd cheer so much for just a save in overtime, as they are definitely cheering for G2. Muffin Men, although from North America, may not have
shot towards the right side, recovered. JNaps. Krenovi can't get it. That'll do it. Torment spikes it home.
Torment coming in so clutch for the Muffin Men. The veteran on the team, and the near touch out from JNaps is not enough to free it from the midst of the Muffin Men. The Muffin Men take it 2 minutes and 8 seconds into Game 3 overtime, and now 2-1 series lead.
And Torment and Gimmick involved in so many of those goals. All three, they split them both. Torment with 2 goals, Gimmick with 2 assists, and you can flip-flop that for Torment or Gimmick. I don't remember. They're
I would say by far Torment has been the most offensive player on the side of the Muffin Men. For even the series versus NRG, he had, what was it, like 5 out of the 7 goals that they scored? And a little bit, I love those 2 guys right there. They are really amping up the crowd. And what a lovely crowd it is as well. We are here Sunday at the Georgia World Congress Center. It's a bit of a tongue twister. And we have fans coming in from sitting in the other seats from the tournaments nearby adjacent, trying to get some Rocket League action from G2 and the Muffin Men. Absolutely ridiculous support from the fans.
And you see Krenovi right there, locked in the middle of his teammates. He's been trying to get him going. Some support for Muffin Men in the crowd. Plenty of support for both of these teams. And of course, Krenovi stepped up in a big way today. He's put in 4 out of the 5 goals for G2 in this series alone, but they still find themselves down 1 game to the Muffin Men. It's a best of 7, but as Lawler said, they keep playing, they keep getting better, and we'll see how G2 fares here on Urban Central. It doesn't start off the best as Torment towards the top of the box, quickly sniffed out by JNaps.
This is the first best of 7 we have seen all tournament, and it is a completely different beast. Quite a test of endurance, as these teams are normally used to playing best of 5s. Best of 5s are not anywhere close to the 7-game series. It can be so exhausting going all the way to 7 games, and you have to play so consistent, so focused for a much longer amount of time.
Gimmick waiting at the top of the box just in case G2 missed the clear opportunity, applying that pressure so critical. As this one turned away by Squishy in the corner. Follow through. What a couple of touches between Krenovi and Squishy Muffins as they reset themselves out in front of the Muffin Men net. Poor clear, and they will have to buy a little bit of time. Follow through for Rizzo. It's gonna be bar down and in. JNaps beats him.
Rizzo getting involved in the offense with a perfectly placed shot. Ooh, oh man, what an angle as well. The pass out, it was, what makes that pass fantastic is that it was not only towards the middle of the box, but it was also away from the defense from the Muffin Men. And the finish as well from Rizzo is gonna put it bar down skis over into the top right corner.
And Rizzo has proved himself a formidable striker, not scoring a lot of goals, but the goals he scored, especially the ones today, he's had to fit them through some very tight windows. As this one for JNaps, a bouncer, and it will go just high. As G2 start off well in game number 4. They've kept up a fair amount of pressure at the start of things. And this one towards the top of the box. How about a 1-2 pass? And Gimmick just able to get the nose on it. Follow through from Squishy Muffins on target. Or JNaps, my mistake, not Squishy Muffins. Squishy's in the net, and they will roll one down, actually, as Gimmick gives one over to Torment.
Torment is having the tournament day of his life, as he has scored, what is it now, Achieves? I believe.
A lot.
A lot. We will get you the exact number, but I'm gonna guess it's maybe 9 out of 13 goals, total goals for the Muffin Men on the day.
We'll have to figure that one out, as now Gimmick with the pass upfield, follow through off the back wall. Gimmick lurking at the top. It's a long clear and to the open net, and G2 will take the lead right back.
It looks like we have G2 not over yet, as Rizzo, what a wonky angle as well.
I know, right?
Able to actually get a lot of power on that as the ball's traveling towards him. Very interesting shooting there from Rizzo. And then when we talk about the discussion for Rizzo is always very consistent player. I believe somebody mentioned that some players will give you a 6, but also have performances of a 10. But Rizzo will never give you less of a performance than an 8 or a 9 consistently.
Definitely a solid player out of the backfield for this G2 crew. It's a pass out towards the middle of the pitch. Torment has to fight for possession for the Muffin men. Gives Rizzo a lot of space to work with. JNap's off to his left. It's a nice high pass, double commit from Muffin men. If there's anyone from G2, and what a recovery from Gimmick in the midfield. If he didn't have that touch, you can bet the lead would have went to 2.
That was a bit of a transparent pass for G2.
Oh, the bump in the net recovered by Gimmick. What a save.
They took a really long time to set that up, and it was quite obvious that it was going towards that member, but it did make 2 members of the Muffin men jump, and as we see a demo in the net of the Muffin men, G2 are hungry for more.
JNap's one down to Rizzo. Not quite the shot I'm sure he wanted, but he almost able to recover, and it's actually a breakaway chance here. Gimmick and Torment in a one-on-one. High pass, Squishy leaves it, and it will be cleared away into the corner by Rizzo.
That's a really hard read as well when you're underneath the crossbar and it goes on top of you. You have to jump before it hits the crossbar and hope to deflect it away in a very good situation. So it's a very easy to make a mistake there, but G2 handles it well, even in that breakaway situation.
A nice challenge from Gimmick rushing out of the midfield line. Follow through by JNap's. A demo out in front of the blue net. Squishy Muffin's going to have to wait a few seconds. As we're under 2 minutes now in game number 4. And as it keeps going on, G2 have started to warm up. Follow through by Gimmick. Not the best clear, and JNap's will make him pay for it as the pass off the back wall turned away by Squishy. Krenovi actually getting a little bit of aggression, and more than a little bit, as he's just off into space.
Man, he actually got punted. Usually you normally hit the ball that hard, but sometimes if you hit a player just right and you flip into him, you can actually send them flying with the same amount of force you would the ball. But final minute of game number 4. Muffin men have a 2-1 series lead, but are down 1-2 on the game. G2 looking to close out the game and the series.
Well, the final minute, they would lock up the series at 2s. G2 now. So patient. Out of the midfield, Gimmick has a lot of space to work with. Doesn't have the boost, however, and will have to give way. Down out in front. Hard off the side wall. It's a chance. It's on target. It's just high, however, off the bar. And Krenovi is thankful that that one didn't have to test him too much. Now, Krenovi, long clear on the open net, but he's not going to be able to track it down. JNap's tries to get it through Gimmick. What positioning, and hello, Torment. Way to come out of the corner and keep the net clean. And it's a tight one here in the final 13 seconds. The Muffin men need something to give themselves a chance at overtime. Shot, that is turned away by Gimmick as well. Last 5 seconds, Krenovi trying to tack on for G2. We will continue on pass, and that will do it. Game number 4 comes to a close. We find ourselves deadlocked at 2s.
G2 Esports, 2 goals, 2 games in the series. 2 names in the first letter of their... I cannot believe this crowd. Absolutely ridiculous out there, showing the fan support as we have a tied series, 2-2.
Going all 7.
And G2... I mean, if it were a best of 5, this would be the last game, but we are in a best of 7. I don't think G2 has played any... What was their match against? They had a match against a European roster.
Earlier today?
Yesterday, where they got beaten by, I think... Ooh, what's the notes here saying?
Envious.
Envious. They got beat by Envious. I think that was a 3-1 victory for Envious. Other than that, every game that G2 has played, I think has gone... No, they did 3-0 against Set to Destroy. But today... They have been playing a lot of games.
We got to see G2 a lot yesterday. They played all 3 of their elimination matches on stream. And they played a fair few. JNap's gave us quite a show, but Krenovi and especially Rizzo in that last game really stepping up for them in here. And we have to go all 7 at this point, right? We played 4 and got to win 4 games, so no, we can go 6.
No, you can go to 6. We can still have a 4-2 victory for either side, but we are guaranteed at least game 6 as we get game number 5 underway between G2 Esports and the Muffin men. If you're not in those seats right now watching, you are missing out on some really great Rocket League action.
Now, of course, the winner of this one guaranteed $12,000. You lose now, you have to settle for 6K. Not that settling would be the right word, but
I'll settle for 6K. That sounds pretty good to me.
everybody in it to win it here for sure at this point. Fighting for the lion's share of this 50,000 DreamHack Atlanta Championship. This one out in front, JNaps hard off the top corner. Kronovi patient out of the midfield, an angle, but not quite, just across the front of the goal mouth. Good flip around one from Squishy. It's a 3-on-1, hard off the back wall. G2's made it back, and Muffin men will have to wait their turn once again. So now we see Kronovi. Tap to JNaps. Hard off the corner, tough read. Torment squares that one up. The perfect clear off the back wall. Quick U-turn from Squishy. It's just high, and that would have been a brilliant 1-2 play, and a 1-2-3 turned away by Rizzo.
Yeah, a ridiculous boomer.
And hello, what?
Squeak through the defense of G2 as it looks like a walk-in from Gimmick. How many goals is Gimmick up to in this series?
He's up to a lot. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right. That was the player for Lawler and I to watch for. He needs to be involved, but Torment as well, carrying a lot of that weight. You know, Squishy has been relatively quiet, as many would believe that he might be the best player on the team, at least mechanically. Been a really quiet member of the team so far, but they are tied in the series. They are no stranger to playing.
Ooh, missed clear. Follow through. There it is. Rizzo takes the top right. You need to secure it off the back wall.
Seems that we have a lot of back and forth between these two teams. Ooh, man, that is a really bad whiff there from Gimmick. Unfortunate mistake on the defense is going to lead to an open net. 2 open nets thus far in game number 5. Caused from defensive turmoil in the side. But now we see G2 Esports and the Muffin men tied in game 5, tied in the series. I believe this is probably the 2 closest teams we've seen thus far on the day.
The G2 flipside match could give it a run for its money, but certainly this one of the great North American rivalries of all time. Is this one out into the top? Rizzo wants 2. How about 3? Leaves it for Kronovi. Top bar and out, follow through, kept away by Torment. And a sick challenge out of the midfield from JNaps. Unfortunately, G2 gonna have to scramble back. Not able to find the touch. We're approaching halftime here in game number 5. And again, these two teams so close. The previous 2 matches both decided by 1 goal. It's hard off the side wall. Gimmick has to race for this one. Well met by JNaps. Follow through. Kronovi went for the fake. Gave his hand away a little bit too early, and Torment able to keep the net clear. And what a dunk by Rizzo. He leaves it. Rizzo the only one there, perhaps hoping that somebody else on G2 would finish the job, and nobody came.
Well, to be fair, I think that is the right decision, as somebody barreling in from the midfield most likely has a better opportunity to shoot that. But time is dwindling down between these two teams. Whenever you have 2 really closely matched teams,
what a shot from
JNaps is going into the top portion of the net. RG2 going towards the top of the bracket into grand finals on JNaps' back.
Oh, that's a brutal angle as well. Squishy Muffin's not facing the right way in the net. There is absolutely no way you're going to be able to save a shot that fast facing that direction. What placement out of the G2 striker. And they will take the lead here in game number 5. We have reached that magic number that Lawler said. If G2 gives them the game 5, they take the series. We have yet to see if it remains true. The Muffin men have given them a run for their money so far, and it's a long clear downfield out of the blue squad. Tap down out to mid, has to wait. Kronovi in a good spot. Pass out towards the top of the box. Is anybody there? It's a bit of a run for Torment. Into the top, kept away by JNaps using the bar.
I cannot believe JNaps saved that after getting sat on by Squishy.
Oh, and Torment makes an equally brilliant save back on the blue half of things. And again, they look to push quickly downfield into the G2 side. Follow through from JNaps into the miss.
What a save.
What a save from Torment. What do you have to do to score? You've got the lead, but you'd love to tack on, and the man with a T in his name won't let you do it.
And such a bang-bang play as it hit off Torment into the post and then off of Torment once more, eventually prying itself from the clutches of the net. But man, close calls for both teams as G2 Esports still managed to hang on to their 1-goal lead.
Muffin Men with some brilliant defensive plays so far, but they still need to find the back of the net, and as I say it, Squishy Muffins does so.
Going in reverse is usually harder than going forward. It doesn't really take a lot to understand that concept, as Kronovi does the best he can. It looks like the other defender of G2 gets a touch on it, but it is not enough. And the Muffin Men tie it up once more. We've seen, I think, more game time of tied between these two teams than one of them having to lead over the other.
It's possible. We've certainly spent a lot of time deadlocked as Torment and Squishy get a little tied up trying to get this ball out of the midfield. And Gimmick now in charge of the midfield line, keeping it in this G2 zone. Follow through by JNaps. It's a weak clear. It should be returned by Muffin Men. Kronovi gonna back out. Leave his teammates to let them do their thing out in front of this blue net. Tries to get one out towards the middle of the pitch. Nobody around, and it should be an easy clear for Muffin Men. They all back off a little bit. Gimmick so close to giving his team the last word here in game number 5. As Kronovi taps it one more time. Do they just kill it? Got his nose on it. 1-2 pass, and that is not the best choice. I think they should have let that fall, as now they have a chance at the orange net. That is wide. It will go to another overtime. It's our second one of the series here. The last one took 2 minutes. Fickle, who do you got in game 5?
I mean, they're fighting neck and neck. I need Wave's coin. He needs to get me a coin, because this match is a total coin flip at this moment in time. Both teams looking like they can best the other, but one team is going to be moving on and one team will be going home.
Long clear downfield. Squishy through one. Torment edging up behind him. A couple delayed touches. Spins make it pretty, and it's going to go wide. Squishy almost doing it all himself from his own half, as now he's in charge of the defense. Great centering pass from G2. It's gonna be a big whiff from both teams, however, and everybody with a chance to reset. Kronovi with his own brilliant clear off his back wall, as we saw Torment do earlier. Squishy forward, cut off by the orange squad. Pass out to midfield. Rizzo actually got faked, expecting a touch there. Is Squishy, 1-2 touch. There's Kronovi. There's the follow through again off the bar. What do you have to do? And now it's another shot. Gimmick. They take the lead in the series. They're up by 3-2.
Gimmick, the rookie on the stage, is going to give the Muffin Men the game and the series lead. They are now up 3-2 in the series. One more victory for the unsigned Muffin Men roster to get into grand finals and double their prize pool.
And what a show it would be from those three on your screen right now. As we've already said, they missed out RLCS League Play Season 3, the overwhelming favorites to make it to that point. And now they get a chance to come out here in DreamHack Atlanta. You guys having a blast out there in the crowd.
Standing room only in the back there, as we have a completely sold out crowd and a very, very fervent one as well, as we see even love for Jamaica out in the crowd. I know exactly who that is.
It is a heck of a series here, a dogfight. G2 went the distance to game 5 with the flip side earlier. They need to go the distance now against the Muffin Men squad, and Kronovi stepped up so big early on in the series. JNaps and Rizzo have starting to come back to life here later on, but right now, it's crunch time if you're G2. You showed up a little bit substandard, subpar over at the X Games. You come out here to X Games, you come out here to DreamHack Atlanta, and you're on stream for 3 games yesterday, and you get to come out here, play 2 more. And we've seen a lot of G2 for the home crowd, Georgia, Atlanta for Kronovi.
Well, here we go, folks. Game number 6 between G2 Esports and the Muffin Men. Muffin Men poised to go into grand finals with one more victory over this veteran G2 roster. Can they do it? Or will G2 be able to come back in the series and reclaim their throne?
The first 15 seconds elapsed already. Gimmick waiting patiently on his own half. G2 really spreading out onto that left side, and they really had to figure out quickly to get back. So they left the net wide open for just a brief moment. Now finally G2 over onto the blue zone. Gimmick off the back wall. Great follow through from Rizzo. Torment makes sure this one gets out to his team. So good at using his teammates all of these Muffin Men members are clearing the ball out towards the top of the box. Squishy Muffins exhibiting a lot of this brilliant passes toward the middle of the pitch that we've seen out of a crew like Gale Force back in the X Games. That was really the first time we've seen a team be so good at getting those clean centering opportunities, and Squishy Muffins really demonstrating that over here in A as well.
If this game is to be projected as the rest of them, we are going to see a very close game all the way until the very end. And I would be looking for either Torment or Gimmick to be the hero for the Muffin Men. I'm still looking for JNaps to be the striker that he was in day 1 and 2. A little bit quiet in this series.
Nice back pass, good possession-based play. Muffin Men making sure to hold on to the ball. There's a pinch. It's going to be just wide. Follow through from Squishy, keeps it high, and no follow through from the Muffin Men. That third touch, not quite on target, as Kronovi has a close to wide open net, the only one in front. Squishy Muffins, he's been a heck of a wall back there on defense so far against this G2 team, and if you want to score against these guys, it's either him or Torment. You need to get it by.
Just like NRG versus Gale Force at the X Games, these two teams so evenly matched, and when that happens, the clock just seems to wind down. We've already elapsed 2 minutes in this game. Number 6 between these two Titans, as Squishy is going to do it, and the bump from his teammate is going to knock Rizzo out of any kind of opportunity to save this.
Really nice job from Gimmick. Like you said, he gets the registered assist and, of course, throwing him out of the way. So a nice show up from these guys. And again, the Muffin Men take the lead in game number 6. You have to wonder, G2, they have to answer quickly, if you ask me.
Oh, here we go. Muffin Men, 2 minutes and 45 seconds remaining until they can move on into grand finals. If they maintain this lead, can you ask for a better story for an unsigned organization to make it all the way into grand finals?
And what a shot from Squishy off the side wall, completely unassisted. What a guy.
Squishy wakes up in game number 6, as that is 2 goals to his accreditation, and Rizzo cheating up just a little bit too far on that anticipation that JNaps was at least going to get a touch on that clear. The Muffin Men, they are poised to go into grand finals, and what a story it would be.
And the wheels about to come off for G2. We're already halfway through this game number 6. Time flies when you're having fun, and G2 feeling the pressure now. Muffin Men applying it so brilliantly here in what could potentially be the last game of G2's tournament. Got to see them all day long yesterday, and there's a great shot from JNaps. It's going to be just high, however. Now we move into the final 2 minutes. The pressure's starting to mount for G2. They need one right here. There's a slow roller, just kept away. Follow through, going to be kept out by Gimmick. The defense is held strong for Muffin Men all throughout the series, and again, as this pressure keeps building, they just keep the rotation solid and don't get in each other's way, and they're playing some textbook defense.
Time is winding down for the stalwarts on G2. They are facing elimination point in DreamHack. They will be knocked out by the North American team, the Muffin Men, as they are having a fantastic performance all tournament long on the backs of Gimmick, Torment, and Squishy Muffin.
There's the shot. Rizzo gets him back within 1.
Roar from the crowd and a partial sigh of relief from G2 Esports. They close it within 1 off of the backboard play, and Rizzo with the placement on to the far post, gonna find it. They have 1 minute and 20 seconds.
Plenty of time to find the back of the net one time, but can you do it against such a stalwart defense that we've seen out of the Muffin Men? That one just wide. Follow through Kronovi. Yes, they can.
Nice placement from Kronovi as well to knock it down instead of against the post. Member of the Muffin Men was coming to try to save that. Squishy goes a little bit high. Within 20 seconds, G2 ties this game back up. They do not want to be eliminated right here and now. They have something to prove at DreamHack Atlanta. This is both teams' chance to prove they are the top in North America, and they should be considered.
A chance for a third overtime. This one kept out. Torment able to throw it off the bar one more time. We've seen him do it a couple of times in this series already. Another shot. The final minute or so has been all G2, and Muffin Men really struggling to figure the ball out of their own zone.
Squishy Muffins, not like
1, 2,
this.
that is kept away. JNap's gonna dive out of the way to the midfield.
Oh, Squishy Muffins almost with brilliant mechanical play there. I coined him as the mechanical genius yesterday, as he is very inventive on the ball, but we've yet to see any kind of razzle-dazzle from him. Maybe we'll see it as the finishing goal here.
The 1-2 pass, Rizzo out to mid.
Oh,
heartbreak if you're a G2
close.
fan. The brilliant 1-2 setup was there, and it all fell apart in an instant. The touch just out of reach of JNap's, and now it's a long clear away for the Muffin Men. Final 15 seconds. Do we see our third overtime of the series? G2 Esports needing to win this game and give themselves a chance for a final 5 minutes. Long pass downfield for regulation play. Squishy down, just needs to get this ball away. Feeds it out to the middle. That was risky, and they'll go to overtime.
Third overtime in a row between these squads. If Muffin Men is able to find the net at least once in this overtime, they are through to grand finals, and they will not have to see G2 anymore. But G2 looking to come back in this series. Who will it be?
Torment and JNap's. Torment so patient, waiting for this cherry pick opportunity. Actually, probably could have just thrown that sideways. Instead, ends up giving it away to G2. What a challenge from Gimmick, though, to hold possession for just a bit longer. This one a tough top corner read, advantage position. Rizzo just able to meet Gimmick in the air. As we trudge forward in this overtime, JNap's trying to set things up for G2. Gimmick hard off the side wall, in a command of a dribble towards the right side, kept away by Rizzo. Follow through by Squishy, 1-2, Torment backs off, not willing to make that huge risk. He knows they only need one goal, and that's not one you want to risk it.
Right, we are approaching the first minute elapsed in overtime. Which team will crumble? Will it be G2 coming back in the series, or will Muffin Men secure their place into grand finals? If you're not in the seats right now in the crowd, you are missing out on the toppest level of Rocket League.
Rizzo with a dribble out of the right side, high off the back wall. There's a chance. It's a tough play, and they'll have to wait for the follow-through, and it's a breakaway chance for the Muffin Men. It's a bit of a long drive for the members of G2, out towards the top of the box. Slow play, 1, 2, not 3. Way to hang tight in the net. Enough follow through. There's Rizzo out of the corner. G2 hangs tight.
Rizzo, from out of nowhere from the camera perspective, is going to save that ball from being scored. So close for the Muffin Men. Hearts are in the pits of their stomachs right now as these players are on stage fighting for tournament life and to move on in the bracket. How long will this overtime go? How long will it be till we see one team falter? Is it going to be G2 or the Muffin Men?
Another double commit from G2. We said they need to stay out of each other's way on defense. Now is the last moment that they would need themselves to fall apart on the defensive end of things. They've held it together for so long throughout 3 days. And now it's just a matter of, can they hold off the Muffin Men one more time to give it another 5 minutes? 2 minutes and 14 seconds elapsed here in overtime. Squishy out towards the net. That is not on target. Kronovi will make sure it stays wide. This one out towards the top of the box. Not quite enough on it. Gimmick wants 2. Squishy edging towards the net, looking for a demo.
I can't handle this achieves. The shot on target, it's off of the post, but a member of G2 is just a bit antsy on the trigger, and they jump a little bit too early. Wasted opportunity for G2 and the black and white crew. 2 minutes and 45 seconds have already elapsed.
Another double commit. Rizzo has to race back and buy even more time. He's done a brilliant job of it all day long whenever they've made a mistake. And he is successful here one more time, but those mistakes could come back to haunt them. Gimmick out towards the top with a back pass right towards Torment. It's towards the left side. It will be kept away. Not quite enough pace behind it. We've reached 3 minutes in overtime. We might see 2 for the price of 1.
As this game gets longer, the hearts start racing faster on the sides of the players. Torment out to the midfield. Who is it going to be? Muffin Men, the unsigned hero, or is it going to be G2, the kings of the region? Who is it going to be? 3 minutes and 25 seconds. This is getting into the longest overtime I think we've seen in the entire DreamHack tournament.
Certainly could make a case for it. Shot from JNap's going to be kept away by Gimmick. Follow through, nice and high. It's going to be a pass. Went for the bump. Nobody there. Kronovi, top corner, kept out by Torment. What do you have to do to score? Torment has made some brilliant saves all series long. A couple of them more spectacular spectacular than others, and that one kept away as well by the man with a T.
We are getting almost into double trouble, almost double regulation time here. Only 1 minute to go, and we have seen 2 Rocket League games in one. The beauty of the golden goal format as we see both of these teams fighting for their lives. The Muffin Men trying to make it into grand finals. G2 Esports trying to do everything they can to get back into the game. Squishy tried to pre-jump that, getting something miraculous going. Bit of a somber mood as both of these teams and the crowd is dead silent, waiting to see what happens between these two rivals.
And it's such an intense feeling for these two teams. The play is alternating between incredibly fast, and then there's a brief 10 to 15 second window where everybody stops, takes a breath, and then that frantic, hectic pace continues as Torment with a pass downfield. Squishy kept away by Rizzo. He'll have to run all the way back. He doesn't have a lot of boost to work with, so he'll be out of the play for a little bit. G2 nice and hard, off the corner, kept away. That's a brilliant clear from Squishy Muffins out into space and well out of reach of his own net. As we've now reached 5 minutes of overtime, we're getting to see potentially 8 full games. This 1-goal game has been so intense so far. G2 needing to win this one, needing to prove themselves a top contender in North America. Muffin Men coming out of the community woodwork, and a follow-through kept at bay again by Torment. He's got so many saves to his name. Follow-through from Squishy. It's just wide, and G2 cannot find the back of the net. Rizzo goes down in front, and that will be cleared away one more time by the Muffin Men. And a demo out of the midfield to push them cleanly onto the orange half.
Very critical demo there for the Muffin Men. It lets them reset just a little bit.
Oh, it's a one-on-one. What a save from Torment again.
Ooh. I cannot even imagine.
Breakaway, Gimmick, it's wide open, right side, the Muffin Men take down G2.
How does such a tense game end with such an open net? Gimmick is going to be the one to place it in for the Muffin Men, and they move on to grand finals. The Muffin Men take down G2 4-2.
What an absolutely spectacular series, all smiles all around. It's always a blast to be in such an intense mood. And such an intense series. What a show from both of these two teams, Muffin Men and G2, a North American rivalry that goes back a really long time. Muffin Men proved themselves victorious here, but we don't have to talk about this one anymore. There's a couple more people who'd like some words to say. Lawler and Wavepunk, what do you guys think?
The Muffin Men, or should we call them the Giant Slayers at this point? First it's NRG, then it's G2, and now the worst they're going to place is top 2. They have the chance to play for the top prize. They are beating all of the big teams here at DreamHack Atlanta and making a name for themselves. Holy cow, that match was intense.
We knew it was going to be a close one, and nothing better to say that it was back and forth the entire time. They said it during the cast. Moments of really high intensity, really quick action, then slowing it down, taking a little bit of time, and then back at it immediately.
Yeah.
Like they're like playing with a fast forward button on us, where it's just like like back and forth every time. But for it to come down to that last moment, G2 put all the eggs in the basket. Rizzo went for a demo. He takes himself out of that rotation, and then all it takes, the thing that Muffin Men have been doing so well that entire series, big clears. Every single time that they think they have some time on G2, no. Someone on that team has the ability to spider clear it all the way back down, and then the pressure is right back on.
Yeah, no, the clears. We don't talk a lot about, you know, massive clears making a difference, but the clears in this series were fantastic, especially from the Muffin Men, being able to get up in the corner and clear so the ball is basically sticking to the roof for as long as it can and drop all the way into your opponent's corner. Right. Fastest way you can possibly transition, and the plays that they were pulling off were absolutely ridiculous on both sides. Quinn, this is one of the most intense matches I feel like we've seen. I think this is my favorite match of the tournament so far. Give me your thoughts.
Dude, one of the best series of Rocket League I have ever seen, without a doubt. Both those teams doing absolutely incredible. It was unbelievable to see both teams, how well matched they were. We saw them clear the ball to each other just time and time again, and the slightest of mistakes, the very smallest errors were what led to goals for each side. And at the very end, it came down to a demo off of a very fast clear to be able to get the edge. It was just an unbelievable series, and unfortunately for Muffin Men, I mean, that's got to be heartbreaking to go out like that with such a good game.
For G2.
G2.
Oh,
yeah,
G2.
For G2 to go out like that.
It's got to be less than heartbreaking.
Excuse
This is as far as any of our Georgia boys will make it, finishing here at 4th. G2, Kernovi going to be done, but what a way to go out. And we remember talking to him saying, oh, the best of 7 will play to our favor. We'll be able to have more time to bounce back. And you saw the series at Game 5 was 3-2 in favor of the Muffin Men. It's like, all right, here's the chance for him to make good on that, for them to come back into this. But every overtime we had here, it felt like the Muffin Men just had them all figured out. And my goodness, I could not believe it. What is your name?
Gimmick?
You're Gimmick. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Just needed to double check before I said the wrong thing. I figured it's just easier to ask. Gimmick is here with us from the Muffin Men. My goodness. Can you tell me, Gimmick, when you came up to DreamHack Atlanta, is this what you thought was going to happen? You'd be playing in the grand finals?
No, honestly, I thought we were going to lose to Energy, but
yeah.
we just, after the first game, we won the first game. We were just like so amped up. We thought like, oh, we could actually win this. And then actually, if we beat Energy, we thought like, oh, we could probably win this whole thing. We were just all momentum. It was just on us.
Yeah.
It's great.
You guys played so well. We talked about G2 so often and their rotations being a big part of it. Did you feel like at any point G2 was making mistakes and you were like, oh, we can capitalize on this now? Or were they just playing lights out the whole time? How'd you feel about G2?
Yeah, their defense was actually pretty, they were getting very good saves. Like our shots, I thought they were going in, they were just saving it. And then their rotation, sometimes like their pressure, they would just shoot it on net, and then it hit crossbar, and then we just get lucky, and we just drive it up the field and try and score off of it.
I mean, obviously for you, this is like a whole new experience. Talk us through that, what it's like for you to be at your first LAN performing on this kind of stage, and the nerves literally being like no difference for you. You're just like, yeah, I don't care.
Yeah,
it's nuts.
Yeah, honestly, I don't even see the crowd, or it's just the same thing as if I'm gaming at home. I just focused on the game and try and play as good as I can, as good as I do when I'm at home.
Did you notice the fan in the crowd he's got a Muffin Man sign?
No. Oh, actually, yeah.
It's like that big, but it's got like a muffin on it.
Yeah.
It's really, really cool. You guys, like Lawler said, so calm and collected there on the stage, playing so well. And now you have either Gale Force or Envious waiting for you on the other side. Who do you think you're going to play against? And who would you rather play against?
Well, probably Envious, since we lost to Gale Force already. They're actually really, really good. We didn't think we were even going to get them to Game 5, but we actually did. But I don't think we could do that again, because I don't think we're good enough.
You got to be confident, man. You can do it.
Yeah. I don't know.
We talked about this earlier. You guys are you're the only unsigned team in the top 8, and now you're in the top 2. Do you have any words for potential sponsors who are watching this tournament who might be thinking about picking you guys up?
Yeah, hey, I'm right here. We're right here.
Here we are.
Sign me.
Come get us here. Thanks so much, Gimmick. Any shout-outs you got before I let you get to the grand finals?
Shout out to Epic Johnny and Justin. I don't know if you guys know who that is. They were friends. Yep.
Fantastic.
Nice.
Good stuff. Good to hear the shout-outs here. But thanks, Gimmick. Well done. Well played. And we'll see you in the grand finals.
Thanks.
The Muffin Men upsetting G2 here in 6 games. Could not believe how hyped that match was, and I cannot wait to see if the other semifinal lives up to the hype. It'll be Gale Force versus Envious when we come back to DreamHack Atlanta.